Good afternoon, my name is Marta Elena Toledo Arenas. I am English student of level B1 plus, and I don't want to say my age, but I'm more than 15, okay? Well, I chose for this part of the course the following topic: violent video games should be banned. And I chose it because the violence has been always something interesting for me. I think their causes and consequences haven't been studied enough. Besides, I work with teenagers and I see how important are the video games in their lives, overall for the men. The first step I did after deciding the topic was read the two sources in the activity guide and take notes about them. After that, I looked for more information on the net. I found some websites very interesting, and finally, I spoke and asked with my son and my daughter, and I made a little survey. In this way, I am ready for my speaking. I am going to start saying that nobody thinks the violence is good, but nobody knows how to finish with it. Even there are some opinions about the natural sense of defense using the violence as a correct way. My question is that true? In this context, I am going to develop the arguments. The first idea is the violence isn't good. There are many examples, since the murders because that, until the people living hungry all the time, are only two examples about the violence grades. So, why do we have to promote the violence with the video games? Personally, I'm not agree with the violence in the video games. It hasn't been enough with this and in an ordinary life. It hasn't been enough with the wars all around the world. It hasn't been enough with all the familiar violence we live with. The American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry exposed in the article Video Games and Children Playing with Violence the following ideas, and these are only some consequences of these video games. Less time socializing with friends and family, poor social skills, time away from family time, schoolwork and other hobbies, lower grades, less reading, less exercising and becoming overweight, decreased sleep and poor quality sleep, aggressive thoughts and behaviors. The violence video games invite to job killing or abuse of animals, abuse of drugs, disrespect the law and authority, use foul language, and hit the things as normal way of living. Even it teaches sexual exploitation and violence toward the woman. In my view, this not always happens, but teenagers and children who play excessively have the possibility of thinking those behaviors are normal. I strongly believe that nobody can be agreed with this. However, the human race hasn't been able to finish with this and other violence attitudes. So why not ban the violent video games? Some people say it is because the video games industry needs to sell more and the violent video games are a good trade. On the other hand, the video from Dr. A.E. Carroll from the Healthcare Triage arguments the opposite way. He says there isn't evidence between think or watch violence and become a violent person. Even more could be a way to take the possibility of becoming a violent person. He says that the real cause, the increases of the violence in teenagers are the children isolation and the discapacity for make good relationship, which are other causes but not the violence video games. In my research, I found the countries most playing video games are China, South Korea, Iran and USA. And the countries where most teenagers commit crimes are Brazil, Colombia and USA. So it is possible there aren't evidence, only USA appears into the two lists, and this is significant and will be a small evidence. In conclusion, there are 2 points of view. In a side who think there are not evidence or link between the real violence and the virtual violence, and the causes of violence in the world are different to the violent video games. On the other hand, other point of view, we can say there are a lot of evidence of violence in the world, so why more? It was very interesting for me and my family, and thanks for the same chance we had with this. Bye bye and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2022. Bye bye.